So we shall continue with caste system. So let me just explain. Many people already know about it that Hinduism has four castes. Brahmins is the superior caste in the sense that they do intellectual work or perform religious duties. Kshatriyas are historically warriors. Vaishyas are historically traders, and Shudras are supposed to do the manual jobs. And the Dalit or untouchable, they are on the bottom layer of social stratification. These are the four major castes, but there are estimated to be around 4,000 caste, subcaste, or caste and subcaste together. Now we will talk about the important aspect that despite the fact that India made tremendous strides in industrial, economic and other sectors, it could not address the issue of social hierarchy or the caste system in an effective way. For instance, if you look at India, like other Western countries, it also made impressive development. And for instance, I could tell you that if you look at, like, it has one of the biggest film industry, or rather the film industry, not only Bollywood but Indian film industry, sorry, the South Indian film industry, that is also one of the biggest industries in the world, or maybe biggest. And if you look at since since the decade of 1990s, when it's India started liberalization, it rather started that during the decade of 1980s when Manmohan Singh was the minister. So at that time, the pace of industrial development was not as fast as it is now. And since that liberalization started during the decade of 1990s, in 2021, India had around, a lot of industrial units, running into millions of industrial units. Yeah, more than 2 million. Yeah, more than 2 million industrial unit, according to um an estimate of 2022. It is also a darling of global capitalist class, attracting 667.4 billion of FDI, foreign direct investment, between now 2014 and 2024, registering an increase of 119% over the preceding decade, 2004 and 2014. This investment flow spans 31 states and 57 sectors, driving growth across diverse industries. New Delhi embraced the doctrine of free market with great zeal during the decade of 1980s, opening almost all sectors of economy for 100% FDI, except certain strategically important sectors. The FDI equity inflows into the manufacturing sector over the past decade, 2014 and 2024, reached 165.1 billion, marking a 69% increase compared to the previous decade, which saw inflows of um, uh, US dollar 97.7 billion. And if we look at Nehru's introvert India, it also spread its tentacles in the region and beyond. The biggest democracy's merchandise exports surpassed 437 billion in the year 2000, in the financial year 2023-24. The total employment in the manufacturing sector increased from 57 million in 2017-2018 to 64.4 million in 2022 to 2023 financial year. There are conflicting number of universities and colleges that have been imparting education in India. A 2016-17 survey says that there are 864 universities and uh, 40,000 colleges, 40,000, 26 colleges rather, and 11,669 standalone institutions. Out of them, 15 universities are exclusively for women. The recent estimates claim a very high number. For instance, Statista claims as of July last year, India had 5,349 universities, which is the highest number in the world, having 342,000 researchers, over 5.4 million IT professionals, and over 334 rich people, the richest people of the world. But despite all that, the old social hierarchies is still holding the sway. Indian leaders championing the cause of shining India would categorically reject the assertions that caste system still dominates the Indian social and political landscape, but critics believe it is still prevalent in large swaths of regions. It is evident in the way you talk, in the way you dress. It is also visible in one's skin color, region, and financial income. There's no reliable data on caste because the last census on it was carried out decades ago. However, Arundhati Roy's book titled The Doctor and the Saint, published in 2017, deals with the issue in great detail. According to it, in the 1931 census, which was the last to include caste as an aspect of survey, Vaishyas accounted for 2.7% of the population only, while the untouchables accounted for 12.5%. Given their access to better health care and more secure futures for their children, the figure for Vaishyas is likely to have decreased rather than increased. Uh, Either way, their income clout in the new economy is extraordinary, dominating big businesses, small enterprises, agriculture, and industry. It seems caste and capitalism have blended into a disquieting, uniquely Indian alloy. Cronyism is built into the caste system. One of the factors contributing to their success lies in religious scriptures. The success of Vaishyas, which is traditionally or according to religion, which is supposed to do business. It is believed Vaishyas are the only doing their divinely ordained duty. According to Roy, the Earth Shastra says usury is Vaishya's right, giving interest, taking interest, or giving money, on interest. The Manu Samarthi goes further and suggests that a sliding scale of interest rate. So it is 2% per month for the Brahmins if he takes loan, 3% for Kshatriyas, 4% for Vaishyas, and 5% for Shudras. And then she has talked about an average on an annual basis. The Brahmins was to pay 24% interest, and the Shudras and Dalits 60%. No one can be forced into the service of anyone belonging to a lower caste. So the author seems to believe because of all this, Vaishyas control Indian businesses, but this does not diminish the importance of Brahmins. She notes the Brahmins, gods on earth, who are considered gods on earth, were 6.4% of the population according to the census of 1931. And their population shares might have witnessed a downward spiral, but their domination is still unshakable. She notes that they were dominant in 1940s and their influence is still visible. Quoting Dr. Ambedkar, she wrote, according to Dr. Ambedkar, Brahmins, who were 3% of the population in the Madras presidency in 1948, they held 37% of the gazetted post and 43% of the non-gazetted post in government jobs. That's really huge. That shows that despite having a very low population, their influence was unmatchable. Quoting figures from senior Indian journalist Khushwant Singh's article, Arundhati Roy revealed, Brahmins form no more than 3.5% of the population of our country. Today, they hold as much as 70% of government jobs. I presume the figure refers only to gazetted post in senior in the senior echelons of the civil service from the rank of deputy secretaries upward. Out of 500, there are 310 Brahmins. Out of 500, 310 are Brahmins. That is 63% of the 26, 63%. And then of the 26 state chief secretaries, 19 are Brahmins. Of the 27 governors and lieutenant colonels, 13 are Brahmins. Of the 16 Supreme Court judges, 9 are Brahmins. Of the 330 judges of high courts, 160 are Brahmins. Of 140 ambassadors, 58 are Brahmins. Of the total 3,300 IAS officers, 2,376 are Brahmins. So that's an overwhelming majority that shows the level of discrimination in a way against the Dalit, or the lack of opportunities for them. It These are old figures. Naturally, they were quote. The book was published in 2017, but during the last 7 years, not much has changed. On the other hand, with the rise of Bharatiya Janata Party and premiership of Modi, the upper caste domination has only increased. Roy claims that this dominance of the Brahman is not confined to bureaucracy, but they also influence politics. And then she has talked about the influence of the Brahmanis in politics, that we will talk about in our next part.